All right, Tackers, here we go. Tuesday, the 21st. Hopefully, you guys have taken your history tests. I'll start looking at those tomorrow. Let's check the schedule upcoming here. Today, Clinton bio. I do want you to start reading the Clinton years. There will be a reading notes quiz on it at that time. Wednesday's a pause day. Thursday, Clinton SNL. Clinton Peacemaker. We'll roll into this SNL skip. It's a really good one to see how he came out. The 4 steps of your quiz are due here. And we'll do World Terrorism on Friday. So, pretty good week going forward here. Hope all is well with you. But let's get rolling a little bit here to this issue with the Clinton years. Okay, so how do we roll with old Bill here? Look at all those great pictures of him. He is such a good-looking guy. It's great, isn't it, right? Okay, so rolling in this time, from the 80s we have cable TV, and we have MTV, and CNN, and America's starting to experience a lot of change, right? You start to see different leads in TV shows. So here's Roseanne Barr, right? And the show The Connors is on now. There's a remake of that coming up. Then you see The Cosby Show, with these non-traditional lead roles for characters that we sort of never had before at that time. And you start to see in the 1980s a lot of personal technology. Okay, this is a Walkman. How cool is that, right? This is an Atari with a joystick and a button. How cool is that, right? You would flip before. Oh, so cool. I had one of those back when I was a kid, right? A personal computer. Look how big this thing was. This was a portable telephone, a car phone that you would carry with you. Like literally, here was the antenna, and you would put it over your shoulder, and you could talk to people at that point on. Okay? There was this focus on consumerism and wealth, this idea of me and being such horrendous fashion. I don't know what we were thinking at that time. But the term that came out of this, guys, is this idea of a yuppie. Okay? A young urban professional. Okay? And what they would have, what they would wear. Notice she has a Sony Walkman in, and so it's like how you see how people with like AirPods in today. So every time has it going forward. And then Reagan's victory. So Republicans stayed in control. We talked about Bush and the Gulf War, but the deficits and read my lips, no new taxes is going to come back to haunt him down the line. Okay, so the Democratic Party started to take back some issues by becoming more modern. We'll talk about this throughout the Clinton unit. Excuse me. The economic boom of the 90s was based on all of this technology coming forward out of Silicon Valley. And then we have terrorism both abroad and at home that we've never really had to deal with before. And we'll get to that later on in the unit, okay? But hey, there he is, a man from a town called Hope. First president born in what we refer to as the baby boom. As a young man, he met Kennedy in '63, and after he shook the president's hand in Washington, D.C., he knew that he wanted to be president at that time. Now, he's a graduate of Georgetown in '68. Okay, he was offered a scholarship at Oxford, what's referred to as a Rhodes Scholarship, very prestigious, very famous. The problem was, while at Georgetown, however, he was in the ROTC program. So he should have fulfilled military service. He didn't, and then went abroad to Oxford, and then came back and went to Yale Law. Remember, we talked about Carter pardoning Clinton as one of those draft dodgers early on in his administration. He ran for the House in '74. Was a skull and bonesman like H.W. So weird that guys from basically the same fraternity or social group were back-to-back presidents. Attorney General in '76, guys, he was 30. It's crazy. Okay, it's like the top district attorney, police officer. It's crazy. Governor in '78. Then he lost in '80, and then they reelected him 5 times straight after. So he's a 6-time governor of Arkansas. That's tied for the second longest. That is the second longest behind the guy of the Little Rock Nine fame. If you remember Orville Faubus, very good under Eisenhower. You might see some of that. Okay, so here's a campaign flyer for Clinton to sign. Note his approval rating. Once we get later on his presidency, it finishes at 66%. Note that throughout. Okay, and this was one of the most famous town halls, and we'll get to this a little bit. H.W. really hurt himself at one point during this town hall because he looked over and looked at his watch, and that really hurt him down the line. So in 92, Bush lost to Clinton, but we have that third-party candidate that you saw just a second ago. We have this guy, which we'll watch in the SNL bit coming up here, okay? But notice that for a third-party candidate, guys, he got 18.8% of the vote. Now, the math is a little bit fuzzy here, but he probably stole a few more votes away from Bush than Clinton, although we're not sure that it made a huge difference throughout. Electoral 370 to 168, and you could see a Southern Democrat wins some of the South. You could see some of these Southern states help get him over the top to what he needs to be in terms of the presidency. So real quick little video there on Clinton bio. When we jump back in on Thursday, a lot of material on Clinton the Peacemaker, how he was successful or unsuccessful in early foreign policy. You guys have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Go Tigers.